morning, everyone. See, a few people have already joined. I think we have quite a few more that still have to join.
I don't know why I can't capitalize right now.
Morning.
Casual.
Right. I don't know who's on the line with us this morning. Okay, so I see Joanne and Joshua and Patricia and Tyler are with us right now.
Hello, Tyler. Yeah. Tyler from Sudbury, home of the Big Nickel. I'm going to remember that forever. It's always going to be Tyler from Sudbury with the Big Nickel. That's going to be, that's going to be my thing.
Hello, Joshua.
I think Florence said he was going to be here today, but I'm not sure if because he did say he had to go to work today. So.
Oh, there's Lisa. Hello.
I'm really happy that the moose jaw got refurbished, the moose and moose jaw, because he was looking a little bit ratty. So I'm glad that he got a facelift. It was good.
I stayed in the hotel right beside the moose. I could see him from my window.
There you go.
I had to go out there to do a MFSA for the pilot. Yeah. That was when there was a transition in health promotion there.
Oh, yeah.
Lisa, have you met Derek, who is the health promotion manager? Yeah, health promotion manager there. Yeah. He also is the backup spin instructor, which I think is awesome. Yeah, he is really nice. He's funny. If you see him, tell him hi, Daryl. I know his name is Derek, but that's our little joke. So say hi, Daryl from Carissa. He'll just roll his eyes. Okay.
You're funny. Let's give people a couple more minutes because we're low on participants right now. I'll just wait 2 more minutes and then we will start. Oh, at Welcome Wednesday. Oh, I like that.
Oh, that's neat. So is that a weekly thing or is that just everybody's coming back on Wednesday thing? Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. We need to know more about this. We need to investigate this Welcome Wednesday.
You'll have to ask Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl, tell me about this Welcome Wednesday.
Oh, doing them on Zoom. Okay.
Oh,
that's fun. So is Zoom supported on CFMWS or the D1 then? Haley does the coordinating. I'm not sure I know Haley.
Is she the AA?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. She might work for Joy because I think Joy's the PSP manager.
Well, I did meet. Oh,
she's a volunteer coordinator. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, great. What time?
All right.
Maybe we will get started then. So good morning, everybody, and welcome back. I think everybody that's online has already met the 3 of us. So sadly, today is our last session with you, although I do have 3 more coming up for injury prevention. So if you still like me after this many weeks, please watch out for those. They're coming, one coming up next Monday, and then they will be bi-weekly for the next 3 weeks after that. So
and at what time are those, Heather?
3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So a little bit later because my co-facilitator schedule has changed since things have been ramping up. So today we are talking about new beginnings, ditching what didn't work. So if you think about it, every moment of your life, every single moment of your life is an opportunity to begin again, to start over, as you might say. One decision should not make or break your day. But so many times we get up and one thing goes wrong and we say to ourselves, oh, this day is just going to be horrible. But that's really not true. That was just one moment in our day, one moment in our life, and it doesn't have to rule the way that the rest of the day or the rest of the year or the rest of the month is going to go. Choosing not to work out at lunch doesn't mean that you can't go for a walk after dinner, or, and it may sound extreme, but some of us have been there, eating a whole pie at supper doesn't mean that you can't wake up the next morning and make a beautiful, nutritious breakfast for yourself. Every moment is a chance to start fresh, to keep reaching for a new kind of joy in your life. Let's face it, we are all imperfect. We are imperfect beings, and we just need to live the best life we can and be in the present every moment in order to be able to move ourselves forward confidently. And if we can't take that step each moment and take away what happened in the past, then we get stuck. And we don't want you guys there. And so that's the focus of today. Great. So sadly, I do still need to read this. I know you've probably all heard it so many times. You could recite it for us. Before we get started, the presentation you are about to view is the intellectual property of the Department of National Defense. Any reproduction or retransmission of the slides contained in this presentation is strictly forbidden. Some of the topics discussed in the webinar may be of a sensitive nature and may not be appropriate for children. Parental discretion is requested. Please understand that people's stories are theirs alone to tell, and anything that is shared by the participants in this webinar, either on camera or in chat, is not to be discussed outside of the webinar. This webinar is being recorded and will be available for later viewing on the CAF Connection. Though active participation is encouraged, you may simply follow along without using chat, video, microphone options if you prefer. Quite a few people that I have talked to have already started going and looking at some of the old webinars. So if you missed stuff that's interesting to you, feel free to jump on and take a look at some of that. So let's just find out who we all are today. Just answering that poll off to the side. Great, thank you, everybody. So we are going to watch a little video clip that Carissa is going to queue up for us.
You want me to, or do you want to?
I'm not sure what spot we're starting in, Carissa, so go ahead and do that. We're not watching the whole thing, so she's just going to cue it up to the spot we're going to watch.
Hey, there he is.
Maybe I'm going to cue it up to the spot.
Naughty list? Ah, on naughty list, you hold the record. But no matter, we overlook. Now we are wiping clean the slate. How come?
There we go. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I hope you caught that, because you should have heard him say, "We are," and that's what we want. We want this to be an opportunity. Hey, whoa, 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 whoa! Yikes! That is just too much of me. Stop that now, Heather.
You ran away from me, I'm running away from you.
That's what we want New Beginnings really to be about, is that whole notion of starting with a clean slate. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen this movie. I absolutely love it. I use the fact that I have a child to indulge my absolute love of cartoons. So I love this movie. It's Rise of the Guardians. If you haven't seen it, it's excellent. Anyway, what I wanted you to take away from that clip is that, you know, Jack Frost held the record for being on the naughty list, but even North said, hey, you know what, Jack, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. We are going to wipe clean the slate. We're starting over. And we all need to do that. We all need to be able to do that. Everything that we have done in the past has been an opportunity for us to learn something. It's taught us something. Maybe the biggest learning is that there's certain things that just don't work, right? There's going on a crash diet, eliminating food groups, listening to bro science at the gym, and declaring certain foods off limits because of things that you've heard other people say, because that's what they've done. And then the big one of not acknowledging that everything that we talked about the last couple of sessions, the whole notion that we eat beyond just the reason for food and sustenance, right? There's reasons that we eat, and we need to recognize and acknowledge that. And if we don't, because we didn't know how to, or we didn't know where to go for help, like those are all legitimate reasons for choosing or not being able to do something about it. But sometimes it's also been because we have been kind of led down the garden path by some really well-intentioned people. So if you're at the gym and you see a guy and he's deadlifting 400 and you want that to be your goal, you might go up to him and say, hey, noticed how much you've been lifting. Would you mind, giving me some pointers or some tips or some advice or whatever? And he probably has some really valuable and valid points to share. But on the same or the flip side to that, just because he has gotten to a place where he can deadlift 400 pounds doesn't make him an expert in deadlifting 400 pounds. He did what worked for him. So the same thing for us. You might have had a fitness instructor whose sole job was to give you a fitness program that helps you get to where you need to be in terms of your performance goals. But then they kind of steered out of their lane and they're like, well, did you ever consider doing this in terms of your nutrition? And the only thing that they are ever supposed to tell you is follow Canada's food guide. It's really boring, but that's it. That is the end at which they are supposed to stop talking, right? That is it. Similarly, dietitians, and I used to be one, we know about food. We know from food. We know the science. We know how it works in our bodies. We know what happens, but we don't have a psychological background. We don't have a background in cognitive behavioral therapy. We don't necessarily understand all the ins and outs of the stuff that's going on with a person that's causing them to make the choices that they're choosing. So what we're trying to say is reach out to as many different experts that you can. Get as many people on your team to help you, and then use your own critical thinking skills to decide, what do you want to put back on your slate? What do you want to be the thing that moves you forward? Because we don't want you putting yourselves in the hands of people who really have no business, to be quite frank, telling you stuff that is your decision to make. So you need to recognize those things and start fresh and start clean and move forward with just the information that you know is going to help you to get across that finish line. So consider the following question.
All right. So thinking about what was your body meant to do? And so often we see so many people that maybe they're trying to look a certain way. They're trying to look strong, but what are they doing to be strong? And are they actually strong? So I'll ask the question, what does it mean to be strong? So what image comes to your mind? And you can just use the chat. When you think of someone who is strong, what does that look like to you? A single mom. That's awesome. Yeah.
Big, huge pecs.
Big, huge pecs. Absolutely. Yeah. It helps. I know for me, it's, I might think of that bodybuilder or the fitness comp physique or an Olympic athlete, deadlifting a certain amount of weight might come to mind. But then also like the single mom, right? Or being able to pick up your kids if you have kids and being able to do those day-to-day tasks with ease and with no pain. So what's going to keep you strong throughout your life, right? It's everything that we've been talking about in terms of being active and having that part of your day-to-day life. Reducing your risk of injury when you are active and training safely. So like Heather mentioned with the Fit to Move webinars, and I know there's other webinars that have been done around injury reduction, but implementing those things to keep yourself safe so that you're not suffering later on in life. Eating well, right? All the webinars where we're just talking about but we're talking about the why we eat, but we also need to know the what to eat piece as well. Sleep is a big part of that too. If we're not resting and taking care of ourselves in that way, then that's going to have a big impact on those other things as well. So we know that looking good, looking a certain way, having a certain physique doesn't necessarily mean that we're healthy, right? Or that person that we see that might look good, as defined by society or magazines or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're capable of doing the things that they want to do, or maybe they won't be capable later in life, depending on how they got to that point. So, and it's hard when we're at a certain age, when we're young in life, to think about what's our future going to look like. You know, when we're an older adult, are we going to be able to do the things that we want to do? Or is what we're doing now setting us up so that we're not able to do those things later in life when we retire and we want to do those things, but maybe, you know, we've injured ourselves, or we're not in the shape that we want to be in. So it's considering all those things and how it's going to impact us throughout our life. And then for the next question, what are you going to lean into? So meaning, what gets you moving, right? What gets you motivated to go out and exercise, or play sports, or do certain activities, right? We have to find the things that we enjoy in order to do it. And it's going to change over time depending on, you know, the stage of life that you're in and the goals that you have. When I think about myself pre-kids, I was all about training for half marathons, and I had this goal of running a full distance marathon. And then I had my first child, and that kind of went out the window. I'm still moving, but it's very different, and my goals are different, and my abilities are different. So it's always taking that into consideration, but also, right, finding those new things to keep moving. And then the last question, when are you going to do it? Right, we talked about systems, and we talked about coming up with that action plan and having the habits and rituals and things in place to help us get going. Maybe you have a plan to do certain workouts throughout the week, and you have it the time of day, and this is what I'm going to do. But if it feels like a chore and you don't really enjoy doing it, chances are those excuses are going to come up, and it's going to maybe go off to the side. So it's important, again, not only to enjoy what we're doing, but maybe also work it into our lifestyle so that it does become those habits. Maybe it's every evening after supper, we go for a walk. Or every morning when I wake up, I put on my workout clothes, and it sets the stage for the day, or for the morning, that I'm going to go do my morning workout instead of go and do something else, do some work or whatever that may be.
Okay. So we talk about what should be. What's the correct thing or the best thing to do? Who decides or who defines what that is for everybody? What that should be for everybody, or for anybody for that matter. So we might have some certain experts in our lives that we think of when we think of what should be. The Canada Food Guide or a dietitian might be able to provide you with what you should put into your body, or what you should eat daily. The military, for those of you that serve or have served, has guidelines about how you should train. We know from research how much sleep we should be getting. And yet, somehow those best laid plans often don't work out. And why is that? Why does that happen? Could it be that some of them are too future focused? We think about it, you know, we might say to ourselves, I need to do something right now. I want a snack right now. I need to pass my force test right away. Changing the perspective to what should be may correct, might be the correct or the right thing to do, but it also might not be. And I think that that's a really important distinction for us. It depends on whose priority it is. Is it yours? Is it someone else's? And how that thing ultimately will affect your future. So thinking about the idea of the snack I mentioned, should I have a snack? Well, the answer is it depends. Did I just work out? Maybe I need some recovery nutrition. Am I physically hungry? Then yes, I probably should eat. But preferably, I should be eating something that is both delicious and nutritious. Maybe thinking about something like a homemade made granola with topped with yogurt. On the other side of that, did you just get home from work and there are a million things to do? You got a kid that needs to go to sports, you got to get supper on the table, you had a crap day and your boss is just an absolute jerk, and supper is still at least an hour away. Do you need a snack in that moment? Okay. Or might you be able to reassess the situation and recognize some of those things that we've been talking about over the 6 weeks, that it isn't actually about needing that snack, and I could wait that hour to have something nutritious and healthy, because chances are in that moment of wanting that snack, because of the reasons I want it, I'm probably not making the best choice. Can be something possible. It's like the old adage says, if you're looking for a sign, here it is. Can be is a great pair of words because it speaks about what is possible for us. I can be healthier. I can be stronger. I can be more flexible, more powerful, more assertive, more anything I want to be. And I don't need to wait for a sign. We can start right now, in this very moment. My next choice can be full of possibilities. We can start from right where we are and move on from there. Every moment we have is a chance to do something that creates possibility for us. I have a 15-minute break. I could do a number of things in those 15 minutes. I could go for a walk. I could eat a bag of chips. I could call up someone I love and check in with them. There are so many opportunities in that one 15-minute slot that we have. And all of those cans, the chips, the walk, the phone call, can all create different possibilities in our lives. There are no conditions. There are no magic beans to get you where you want to go. I don't have to ask for permission. I can just be. And the last one, am. Present tense, first person singular of be. With am, you are taking it one step further. You are stating the fact or facts, what is going on right now, in this present moment, right now. Not yesterday, because yesterday would be a was. And not tomorrow, because that would be a will. But what am I doing right now? I am strong. I am able. I am ready. I'm courageous. I'm amazing. And some of those words are really hard to say to ourselves because we're not, especially as Canadians, we're not really great at giving ourselves the kudos or the positivity that we deserve in our lives. It could be anything, any positive term. It's best to fill that blank with something that is positive. So try to get rid of the negative. And just in this moment right now, you can say to yourself, I am, and fill in that blank with something amazing. And if you're willing to share it, that's even better. I love this image of the tree. The tree is not thinking long term. It starts out as a tiny little seed, and with time and with rain and with the sun, it becomes this big, majestic, beautiful thing. A thing that gives shelter, a thing that is beautiful, a thing that gives us shade on a sunny day. But it's living in the present moment. It isn't worrying about the threat of a drought or the threat of a fire or of a vandal coming in and destroying it. It's just living right in the moment. And that's what we all need to do more of. Think of food as what you need to live your best life right now. And your best life in the long term. Choose healthy, delicious, nutritious foods wisely. And that means that in the future, if I am living that way right now, I will feel and I will live better in the long run. I don't know if they have those trees in Canada, do they?
I don't think so. What I was actually looking for when I was looking for images is and now I can't think of the name of them. They're the trees that are in Hawaii that have the tendrils that all come down. And there's a huge big one in Old Town in Maui, and there's always people there. Well, there used to always be people there taking pictures. And if my daughter was here, she would remember because she remembers all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I think that's an easy kind of image to gravitate towards, is that whole notion of, and it's a steadfast, slow kind of very deliberate, very purposive kind of a thing, right? Like, and we tend to, and I think that we've been given this great gift in the last couple of months, is that in a lot of ways we've had to slow down a little bit, because we were living kind of from that rushing from one moment to the next, and trying to cram more into our days. And I think that sometimes all of those expectations that we put on ourselves end up driving a lot of the stuff that ends up banging around in our heads and causing us to make some not so great decisions sometimes. It adds pressures. It does, it does all kinds of stuff to us. One of the things that I forgot to mention when I had my previous slide on there was the whole idea about confirmation bias, right? We all have the tendency to listen to the things that already resonate with us so that we can say, yes, oh my gosh, yes, totally, I 100% agree. Whereas if someone says something that kind of goes against what we're saying, we immediately push back and say, that doesn't mesh with what I believe, even though it might actually help us to get farther ahead with what our goals are. So we need to be really aware of that. We all do it. But when it comes to things like nutrition, like exercise, like supplements, like, any of the kinds of things that are out there, if you listen to the people that are all saying the same things that you believe, you're not actually growing and learning. You need to be uncomfortable. You need to feel like there's a little bit of immediately when you hear it, but then you kind of have a chance to reflect on it later and say, oh, okay, you know what? There might be something to that. Maybe I'm looking at this all wrong. Maybe I'm missing something, right? So just to kind of keep that in mind, because it's easy to just stay in that sort of zone that we're in, like the horse with his blinders on, and not look outside to see, are there other things that might be able to help us get closer to that finish line and live that successful us? Because the finish line is calling, right? It is calling us. And the last 5 weeks, we've spent all this time building up to the idea that you're going to be able to do this, and you can do this, and you're already probably in a lot of ways doing this. Every single person is everything that they need right now, right? Maybe there's some rough edges. We all have them. We were walking the dog the other day, and there's this other lady coming out of her house with her big dog. And I said to my husband, I wonder what happened to that dog's tail, because it was like a golden retriever. And usually they have those nice big plumy tails, but this guy's tail had all been like shaved. So it was just this stick waving. And I thought that kind of, dog people, she would have acknowledged that we were walking down the street, but nothing, right? Like blinders on, dog in car, walks around car, and then sits in her car for like 5 minutes because she should have driven past us a long time ago. Anyway, I said, wow, she wasn't very friendly. And my husband, who's a much nicer, kinder, gentler person than I am, said, maybe she's just shy. Did you see that she was a redhead? Gingers are known to be shy. And I said, oh, is that what they call it? Because my husband is actually also a ginger. And I thought it was like aloof or rude or whatever. And he's like, no, she's maybe just shy. That's what they call it. And I said, okay. Well, you know what? I'm shy. And he's like, you're not shy. You scare people. People wish that you were shy. And I'm like, that's just me. That's just rude. So we have that kind of, we do this thing where we go through life and we make these assumptions, and we do this automatic judgment And so we shut down the notion that maybe there's something else there. So we all have these rough edges. Apparently I need to be less scary to people. So we need these rough edges smoothed out. We need the bits that need to be filled up. And there's maybe some other parts of us that just need a little bit of TLC, right? But there isn't anything that you can accomplish if you don't start, or that you can't start right now. Like anything that you want to do, you can do starting right now. You've reflected on, hopefully, if you've done some of the homework, you've had an opportunity to reflect on some of the things that were working, and you absolutely want to keep doing those things. You've reflected on hopefully some of the things that aren't working, and you can toss those aside, right? Wipe and clean the slate. And then maybe there's some things that you've heard from here, hopefully, or maybe other webinars that you've participated in that you're like, you know what? I really like that idea. I want to try to do that. I'm going to work on that a little bit more. And so for some people, there's no time like the present. They're those kinds of folks that jump in 2 feet, let's go, let's get her done. And then for other people, it's a bit of a work in progress, and that's okay too. We all need to have stuff that we're aspiring towards, that we're moving towards, as we live like we're on the other side of that finish line, but living right now, today, in this moment. Because nobody can tell you what to do, except maybe as it comes to your job, right? Like your boss is allowed to sort of say, hey, you know what, you do need to show up for work, you need to do these things. But there's very few people in the world who know you better than you know yourself. So you get to decide what to eat, when to eat, why to eat, and yeah, even how to eat. Cutlery, totally optional. So if you had a good day, celebrate it with a beautiful meal. Had a crappy day, go for a walk, do a quick workout, call a friend. You don't necessarily go immediately to the pantry. Life getting you down, write it in a journal, get it all out of your system, put it in a letter, light it on fire, burn it up. Don't light your house on fire, but just the letter. Kids finally moving out, bake them a cake and have a send-off barbecue. Right? Life is all about celebrations and disappointments. It's about ups, it's about downs, and food can be a part of it. Food should be a part of it. We celebrate with food. I posted on Canada Day, our Canada Day meal. So we made homemade poutine. My husband and my daughter made Nanaimo bars, and we had Caesars as our drinks. So we had the quintessential Canadian meal because it was Canada Day, right? So that's what you do. But it's supposed to be a part of life. It's not there because it is a balm or a Band-Aid. Chicken soup can soothe a cold or your soul, but chocolate cake needs to be enjoyed because it's chocolate cake, not because it's going to help you get through a bad breakup. Weight loss, weight maintenance, and let's face it, just good old-fashioned healthy living is the long game, right? It's not a sprint. It is a marathon. It's a commitment that's going to keep going. There's going to be some hiccups. There's going to be some bumps in the road, but nothing is going to keep you from getting across that finish line as long as you decide what it is that you set your sights on and that you're going to go and live that very deliberately and very consciously with everything in your being. So in terms of our handouts, because we can't possibly let you go without one more handout, it's the clean slate. So there's the should be's, the can be's, and underneath, because this is just a half of a screenshot, there is the am. So fill that in for you. And I would encourage you to maybe make a couple of copies of this because that's going to change. Your should be's, can be's, and ams will change over time. And they should, because we are evolving beings, right? We are not the same as we were 10 years ago. And 10 years from now, we're going to be a little bit different again, because we're going to have to make, like Nicole had to accommodate for her now having 2 kids and the pool is being closed. She needs to change her goals around fitness and activity. We're going to need to do that as our bodies change, as we age, as we, maybe deal with injuries or chronic pain or arthritis or any of those hundreds of things that we have no idea of being able to crystal ball. So that's there for you. At the back is just a little bit of a review from the past weeks. It's going to act maybe like a bit of a roadmap so that you can continue to just reflect on where things are at and where you want to go and what you want to do and how you want to continue to move forward.
Okay, so, and we just want to end off this series with this quote. Is quite fitting with everything that we've been talking about. So you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. And that's quite fitting, right? You create your own destiny. starting where you are now, and you're creating your own roadmap. We learn from our past, and we use each day as a new opportunity to do good and make better choices and to learn, and like Chris said, to evolve, because we're going to change over time. We talked about celebrating our successes and being kind and patient with ourselves, because we know that change takes time, right? These strategies and these things that you might be starting to implement, it's not going to change overnight. We need to practice those things and have them become a habit. And with the right mindset and the right reasons for changing, meaning they're your reasons and not someone else's or what society is telling you to do, then you're going to be on that right track to getting to that finish line, whatever that is for you, however that image is for you. But also recognizing when you hit a roadblock, because that's likely to happen too. Roadblocks happen. We might revert to those old habits, and that's not an indication that you have failed. It's an indication that the strategy that maybe you're using has failed you. So using that as a learning opportunity to look for a new strategy and come up with a new way of dealing with that situation, depending on, you know, what's happening in your life at that time. So it's not doom and gloom. Now I'm going to go back to all my old habits and all this change that I've been working on is all for naught. We can learn from those experiences and still make those better choices. So really the bottom line is, again, starting where you are now with that clean slate and moving forward. I don't know if Carissa and Heather have anything that they would like to add as a wrap up. No? Okay, so for resources, I hear the giggling in the background. Just a reminder that these last 6 weeks aren't meant to replace counseling or professional help. So if you're in a place where you feel like you might need a little bit extra, you might need to talk to someone, then these are some great starting points for getting you connected to someone. And there's also, so with the webinars, Borden is doing a nutrition throughout your life. Maybe some of you have watched the first one today. I believe it's a series of 3 that they're doing. And it's more about the what to eat. So again, we talked about the why, and they're doing the what, and there's other webinars that talked about the what to eat as well. But it's a nice complement. So if you're feeling kind of like you need a little bit more in that aspect and you want to know more about the nutrients and the specifics with the balanced diet and what to be doing, then that's another great resource to take a look at. And then our final poll for today. Oh, the puppy.
That's it, you guys. You survived. You survived 6 weeks with us, and that's pretty amazing. So this week was a little bit light in terms of any kind of big things that we wanted you to take away. It was more just, again, realizing, because we don't do this very well. You know, we don't take the time to tell ourselves that we're doing a good job. We don't tell ourselves that you've overcome stuff and you're doing better now than you were. And I think that we often wait for someone else to tell us that. And I think that we need to tell ourselves that more often. You know, we have done good. We are doing okay. We're maybe not as majestic as that white maple that Tyler was describing. I did look it up. It's very beautiful. And the wood that comes from the white maple is gorgeous. And I now want that in my house. But so, well, thank you very much, Lisa. That's very kind. And we hope that's what we hope, right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, that is our goal. Is I don't know that we always have the answers for everybody, but hopefully we give people some food for thought and some things to think about, and maybe in a slightly different way than it's been presented before. So we really appreciated all of the fun chats and the comments and the participation and the enthusiasm and the weather reports and just kind of checking in across the country. So I am a little bit sad that it's coming to an end, but it's been a great experience for us and we've really enjoyed this. So I'm gonna say peace out because I'm done. I'm not gonna have the last word.
Good luck with that. Thank you, everybody. I really had a lot of fun over the last 6 weeks. It's been a real blast for us to do this. It's been, you know, a real learning experience for the three of us to take ourselves online and stare at ourselves for 6 weeks, which has been very strange. But I absolutely love this topic, and we were so excited to be able to bring this into a new format.
Yeah, it was a nice introduction for me coming back from maternity leave, and definitely a different landscape from what I'm used to. But no, it's been great. So.
And hopefully we'll see you guys next week for my injury reduction webinar. If you are interested, next week we are talking about foam rolling and how effective is it and what not to do. So. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. See ya.
Okay. Okay, ladies, I guess we will see you soon.
Yeah, see ya.